This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. I am your host, John Solberg. Today's episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9 Plus briskets. And as always, they're going to be handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they are shipping out competition quality meats to many of the biggest names in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use the Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Not a competitor, but still have an eye for the finer cuts? Great news for you. The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compard Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, always handpicked for you. Well, you might be saying, John, all this sounds great, but what about some exotic stuff? Well, rest easy. The Butcher Shop will get you your next elk steak, camel roast, hunk of ostrich. They're going to get it out promptly. Yes, they got camel. Let's review. The best competition briskets? Check. The best pork selection? Check. Giving you better overall options to cook in the backyard? Check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today. 850-458-8782. That's 850-458-8782. Mention the Barbecue Central show. They're going to give you 10% off your entire order each and every time you call. You can also interact with them over on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara briskets. And what's going on in today's episode? From January the 21st, 2014, Greg is going to catch up with BIG MISTA.
For those who don't know the BIG MISTA story, maybe a quick abridged version of kind of how you got started in the barbecue business and more importantly, how you've successfully grown into what it is today.
As far as the business started, we started in competition first. And folks just started liking our food because we were doing a lot of People's Choice competitions. So they were asking us to cater, and we started doing little things. And because competitions cost so much, my wife told me, hey, homeboy, you need to start selling something to pay for these competitions because you're cutting into my shoe money.
Uh-oh.
So we started, selling at her job and my job. And then we decided, hey, let's try farmers markets. And we did, and it just started growing. And eventually I quit my job, she quit her job, and we both do it full time now.
I mean, was it your initial interest in barbecue? I mean, was she like, yeah, let's do competitions, or was she just kind of along for the ride?
She was just along for the ride. I mean, with me, I was into the barbecue. She was just like, yeah, whatever. But like I said, it started costing money, so she said, okay, let's make some money so you can go do your thing.
Does she have some type of a flip when she sees it's becoming successful where she leaves her job then to get into the barbecue business as well?
Well, the flip came when we started doing the farmers markets, and I went and approached the job. I was working as a banker at the time, and I approached my job and said, hey, these farmers markets are growing. I need to, cut back on my hours here. So can I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday? That way, you can cut back on salaries, but you still have somebody that can manage this portfolio.
Yeah.
And they never got back to me about it. So my wife said, hey, we've already replaced your salary. Just quit. So I did. And then about a year and a half later, she quit.
And it's been magic ever since.
Okay, let's call it that.
All right. Big Mista joining me here on the show. His website, Big Mista, M-I-S-T-A, BigMista.com. Neil, I was just talking about it here before you jumped on the phone, but for somebody like yourself who has kind of made it in a good way through the farmers market, does the farmers market segment or the open air facility get enough attention when compared to the traditional brick and mortar storefronts? I mean, is that a good way to kind of test the water, as it were, instead of just jumping in and getting into a restaurant?
I think so. Of course, the outlay is much less. The main thing is all they want to say is, do you have a sink? That's the big thing. Do you have a sink and do you have insurance? After that, they don't really care. So you get in there and you start selling it. You grow, people start talking about you, and hopefully, everything takes off.
So you're going to be making this leap into the restaurant business. When did you decide to make the jump, and kind of where are you right now into that process?
Actually, we were approached by the building that we're moving into. It's a multi-use building, so there are like 100 condos that are all full at the top of this building, and there are 2 retail floors at the bottom. And they decided they wanted to do some of these retail floors. And the guy that runs a lot of the farmers markets here is actually the one doing this project. So he wanted to pull in some people he knew. So he approached me about it. He said, hey, I really want you in here. I like your product. I like what you do. You have a following. I want to put you in one of these spots. So they approached us about it. We weren't really thinking about it. We were just trying to grow our catering business.
Aside from Mrs. Mista, number one, of course, who are you holding counsel with to see if, this is the best decision for you guys, and what items are you talking through to give yourself the best chance at success at this?
As far as the business side, Mrs. Mista went through a program. It's called 10,000 Small Businesses, and it's businesses. And it's a program put on by American Express. And there was another group, but I think it was American Express put this on. Anyway, she went through this whole program, and it taught them about finance, loan, marketing, everything like this. So she, a lot of current stuff. Not, you can go to school and learn, but this was really current stuff that people are doing now, and there are a lot of other business owners that are in it. So she made a lot of contacts there also. As far as the other side, the cooking side, and actually running the kitchen. I have a chef friend that I've been consulting with. He works at a restaurant out in the valley. And then, I've talked to some local barbecue folks. I've talked to folks across the country. I've been talking to everybody's ear I can pull. Melissa. I've talked to Chris. I've talked to Tuffy. I've talked to Ronnie Killen down there in Houston. So, we've been just trying to tap every resource we can, trying to get information. Kim Walton from Q for You up in Clovis, everybody.
Neil Big Mista Stawder joining me here on the show. BigMista.com is the website. Neil, I'm obviously not telling you anything you probably don't already know, but getting into the restaurant business probably as risky as getting into a marriage these days. The overwhelming majority of them are failing and fail early in their development. Do you have any type of processes in place aside from people that you've talked to that will hopefully ensure success from Jump Street?
Well, that's the thing we're going to be developing before we open, because we're not going to open until probably late April, early May. So we're going to put a lot of processes in place. That's why I'm talking to chefs, because I want to learn more about running the kitchen. Not necessarily just doing the barbecue. The barbecue I can do, but processes for what needs to be done in the kitchen, how the line needs to be set up, things like that. So when we go in, we're not just flailing around.
What's the menu? What's the menu going to look like?
You want to find out what that menu looked like? Head on over to the BBQCentralShow.com. Link in the show notes is going to take you to this complete episode. I do believe Big Mista's restaurant is no longer, but there's definitely a lot of great information if you think you want to give it a try. Maybe some stuff not to do. Hey, while you're over at the BBQCentralShow.com, there is a great search box. Do a little poking around. Find something you'd like. Listen to a show. Send me a request for a show. Do that at John at the BBQCentralShow.com. Make sure you check out The Butcher Shop on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.